Hi beautiful people, it's Carly from carlystephan.com. I'm coming to you with a video today on whether or not you are just thinking positively or actually spiritually bypassing. So I got a few questions from my last video where I spoke a lot about the contradictions within spiritual teachings and why that is. You'll find that on my YouTube channel. And the questions were around what exactly spiritually bypassing was, because I referred to it there. I also refer to it in my ebook, Brightening You, 8 Ways to Live a Light-Filled Life, and that is available for free for you if you subscribe to my list on carlystephan.com, at carlystephan.com maybe. So the questions, were around, what is spiritually bypassing? And I think it's a really, it seems like a really obvious thing once you actually start to chat about it. But I think it's something that I feel like people run into when they start to adopt spiritual practices and start to integrate certain lessons and try and create a sense of spirituality in their lives, I guess. There can come a point where there's fear around actually being human and processing your emotions like a normal person. And, or maybe I shouldn't say normal person, but just processing your emotions and facing them, basically. So spiritually bypassing, like the definition of it is essentially when you use so-called spiritual concepts or teachings, I guess, to avoid deeply seeing and integrating and processing uncomfortable feelings, feelings that sometimes are referred to as negative, generally feelings that don't feel that great to feel. I mean, it happens, doesn't it? We're human. And there's a reason why we incarnated onto Earth. It was to experience our full spectrum of emotions and our humanity. So there can be a tendency at times for people to maybe assume that being angry in a constructive way, feeling fear or feeling sad or down, that kind of thing is not spiritual. It's a destructive thought pattern. It's kind of like someone just sort of like plugging their ears and going, this isn't happening. What is going on is not happening. So it's complete denial of something occurring in your life, and trying to om it away or meditate it away. And when in actuality, what your higher self is calling you to do is actually look at it and integrate it into your whole being and really accept where you are. So essentially there's, this is sort of the spiritual bypasser will feel an uncomfortable emotion and just go, I'm just going to be zen about this. I'm just going to relax, and I'm just not going to feel it, and I'm just going to spiritually bypass. So then you end up repressing or ignoring something that's actually really critical for you to integrate. And it's destructive. It's going to need to be pulled out of you at some point, whether it's through therapy or some kind of illness or disease. If you are constantly repressing things that you're feeling, it will manifest and come out in an ugly way. So we want to face and feel what it is that we're actually feeling when we feel it, and not spiritually bypass. So whereas positive thinking is it's an optimistic kind of approach to life. So yes, being positive is an attribute, I think, and I think that generally it's great to be able to see a positive spin on the situation, the silver lining and that kind of thing. I often encourage my spiritual mentoring clients to do a zoom out of a situation and sort of see from a soul perspective or a higher self perspective what a situation means for them, and it doesn't, it takes them out of victim mentality and that kind of thing. And so it's positive thinking in a way that is healthy, but it's also it's not denying when you feel awful, denying when you feel just completely crap, basically. So positive thinking can be a way to move through life, and it can be a conscious way to move through life, but there are pitfalls if you are so solely wedded to only being positive and only being in the light. It's destructive in the end. So what I would encourage, if you have found yourself wanting to sort of accidentally moving into spiritually bypassing territory, I'd encourage you to really look at and accept where we're at. We need to accept where we're at, what we're feeling, in order to move in the direction of where we actually want to go. Because if we don't deal with our feelings and don't deal with our emotions and where we're at, where we are thinking we're going or where we want to go is actually it's going to take longer. It's going to be a wobbly path, and because your repression of emotion actually puts a kink in your travel vehicle, because your travel vehicle is your thoughts, and you, essentially, your energetic body is your travel vehicle towards wherever it is you're wanting to go, whatever it is you're wanting to manifest in your life. So we need to stop spiritually bypassing, and actually look at what it is that's in front of us and begin to integrate it. So a word of caution, again, this is the thing. You've got to constantly weigh in your mind whether or not, so spiritual concepts like spiritual bypassing or not, it will always need to be weighed up against, well, am I falling into, when I feel this feeling, am I falling into victimizing victim mentality? And we want to balance it. We don't want to fall into victim mentality, but we do want to feel what we're feeling. So when, let's say, there's something not so great that's happened in your life, you feel like an immediate emotional response is sadness, anger, you want to cry, and you just, you really, really are upset. If you were spiritually bypassing, you'd be trying to it away and saying, oh God, this is not happening to me, this is not happening to me, and in denial about where you are actually at. If you're actually going to be conscious and process this, you would really feel into what is going on, feeling into that emotion, feeling where it is in your body, where has it landed in your body, focusing on that and really letting it move through you. Emotions are energy in motion. So whether it's in your heart, in your solar plexus region, in your womb, I often feel in like the pit of my stomach when I'm feeling really not that great. I focus on that and really just let it move. So I might cry it out, I might journal it out, I might call a friend to just chat to about it. I find that walking in nature helps me, maybe running, just some kind of movement, just really letting it move through me and feeling it and feeling it and feeling it. And once I've really been present with it and journaled it, even asked it a question saying, what is it that you have to tell me? What would you like me to do? How, and caring for it like you would a child almost, really loving and saying, I'm not repressing you. I am letting you have full reign of my energy system, move through me. When you actually do that, it's a clarifying agent. It is massively clarifying and cleansing, and you actually alchemize it into something that is really, really helpful for you in the end. So creating the space to process within you and feel your feelings is going to alchemize and create a fuller you. So on the other hand, if you are really feeling down, and whether or not it is that you're just wallowing in your feelings, or you're sort of like half repressing them, half not, well, not really looking at what is going on, you can turn into that sort of over-identification with the story, or over-identification, staying wedded to the victim mentality. That isn't good. That's where you start to then create another point of attraction that will bring things to you that aren't necessarily something you probably want to experience, because it will be in vibrational resonance and a match to that victim mentality that you're actually holding within you. So that's what I think a lot of people fear around their spiritual bypassing kind of territory, is that if they admit to how they're feeling, or they talk about it at all to anyone, or they feel a so-called negative feeling. There really aren't any negative feelings. They are just feelings. Let's say uncomfortable. They feel something uncomfortable, that they're just going to draw something unwanted to them, that it's going to be like this immediate manifestation of awfulness if you start to actually feel your feelings. That is not the case. The universe isn't that silly. You are not an extremely fast master manifester that you're going to feel an awful feeling and then draw something to you immediately. That's not how it happens. It really is so much more beneficial for you to truly come into a space of feeling it and integrating it into your whole body. And honestly, when you do that, it leaves you in a matter of moments. We are so fearful of experiencing sometimes these feelings that are perfectly natural, that we continue to perpetuate them in our lives. If we feel them, look at them, chat to them, journal with them, we often find, or I often find definitely, it shifts, it lifts and moves on. So really being conscious about our feelings is really, truly helpful. Anyway, I think I've babbled on far too much. I always feel like I want to make these videos 5 minutes, and then I look at the time and it's 12 minutes, and I would like to not babble so much, but I hope this has been helpful for you. I really hope that you are being honest about your feelings and being conscious and letting them move through you. And if you found this useful, I would love for you to share it. And if you're on YouTube, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I really appreciate your support and your love and your presence. Sending you lots of love, and I hope you are so well. Bye, guys. Mwah.